Hello students, welcome to part 2 of my social studies lesson for PSC. And in today's lesson we have several objectives that we want to cover. And the objectives are 1. The roles of Nemo. 2. Roles of the Belize Red Cross. 3. Natural disasters. 4. Plate tectonics. 5. Structure of the earth. And 6. Pangea, continental drift, and the ring of fire. And with no further delay, we want to go into details when it comes to these different topics. And in today's lesson, we want to start with Nemo. So the first thing we want to do is identify Nemo. Nemo stands for the National Emergency Management Organization, and Nemo is a Belize government department established in 2000 under the Disaster Preparedness and Response Act, Chapter 145 of the Laws of Belize. Its job is to preserve life and property in the event of any emergency or disasters. During threats of any natural disaster, Nemo will inform us of our preparation plans through the different media outlets. And in today's lesson, we want to continue by covering the Belize Red Cross. So the Belize Red Cross does a huge range of things across the country, and is mostly known for their presence to a disaster and medical safety program. A good example, if a natural disaster hits one of our neighboring countries and Belize would like to assist, this will be done through the Belize Red Cross. And to go further into today's lesson, we want to identify natural disaster. So what is a natural disaster? A natural disaster is a consequence of an event which causes a significant loss to human lives and property. A disaster is defined as the interaction between an event and human activities. A disaster is often described as a function of hazard, risk, and vulnerability. And to continue today's lesson, again, natural disasters, some examples. You have a volcanic eruption, you have earthquake, you have cyclone or hurricane, you have avalanche, you have flood, you have drought, and forest fire or bush fire. And as you can see, when it comes to the different natural disasters, there are several on this list that can affect Belize. One is the hurricane, and we know that our hurricane season is June to November, and we have the wet and dry season. And apart from hurricane, we have flood. A hurricane usually would bring heavy rain, and the effect would be flood. Then we have drought. During our warm season or hot season, it usually gets really hot, and drought can be a danger and harm, especially to the farmers and their plants. Then we have forest fire or bush fire. Then we just want to give a quick definition of some of the different natural disasters. So we have earthquakes. Earthquakes occur along plate margins where plates meet. When plates move past, towards, or away from each other, the movement is not smooth. Friction causes a plate to get stuck. This causes pressure to build up. Earthquakes occur when this buildup of pressure is released. The point where the earthquake starts is called a focus. Energy waves race rapidly from this point. The point at ground level, directly above the focus, is called the epicenter. Then when it comes to an earthquake, there are several different magnitude. An earthquake has a different magnitude, and magnitude 1 to 3.5. The effect is generally not felt, but recorded. Magnitude 3.5 to 5.4 is often felt, but rarely causes damage. Then under magnitude 6.0, at most, slight damage to strong buildings. Then magnitude 6.1 to 6.9, destructive over 100 kilometers where people live. Then 7.0 to 7.9 magnitude, major earthquake causing serious damage. And magnitude 8.0 or greater is great earthquake causing damage over an area hundreds of kilometers across. So those are the different magnitudes of an earthquake. Now we want to go into what is drought. A drought is an extended period of dry weather leading to extreme dryness. This results in a shortage of water supply which has hydraulical and agricultural impacts. Drought is different from most other hazards as it develops slowly as a creeping hazard. Drought is characterized by moisture levels below normal for the area affected. Drought can be a big problem to our agriculture and farmers during the dry season. Then we go to wildfire. So the definition of wildfire is an unplanned and uncontrolled fire spreading through vegetative fuels, at times involving structures. You have at times in the forest where wildfire will just start to blaze up because of the heat and the temperature that is too warm. Then we go into plate tectonics. The Earth's crust is divided into 12 major plates which are moved in various directions. The plates collided, pull apart, or scrape against each other. Each motion causes different types of features on the Earth's crust. The word tectonic refers to changes in the crust because of a plate interaction. And as we know that plates are constantly moving under the mantle, and this is what causes earthquake, volcano, and some of the other natural disasters. To continue our lesson, we want to go into the continental plate boundaries. And the continental plate boundaries occur when continental plates meet. Both are heavy and neither can be pushed down into the earth. They can either smush together or one can go on top of the other, resulting in very tall mountain. Eventually they come to a stop. So our earth is divided into structures or layers, and there are 4 of them. We have the inner core, which is this white piece in the center. We have the outer core, which is this yellow part. Then we have the mantle, and then we have the crust, which is the outside part that we are standing on. So the crust is thin, rocky outer layer. The mantle, properties of solid but flows slowly. The outer core is liquid nickel and iron, and the inner core is made up of solid, liquid, and iron. And to continue today's lesson, if you can see, we have what is known as Pangea and continental drift. So based on these different diagrams of the earth, I will explain to you the difference between Pangea and continental drift. If you can see on this first one, where you could see that all the continents will stick together as one, scientists call it Pangea because they believe in the past that the 7 continents that we have today were considered as one big mass of land, and that is known as Pangea. But over the years, scientists believe that Pangea, which was one big continent, break up into 7 different continents, and that is known as continental drift. Remember, Pangea was known as one landmass or one big, huge continent, but over the years, scientists believe that all those continents spread apart and form 7 continents, which is known today as continental drift. And because of that, we have 7 different continents. The Ring of Fire, or the Pacific Ring of Fire, is a series of 452 volcanoes located in a horseshoe shape around the Pacific Ocean. It contains 75% of the world's active and non-active volcanoes. So the Ring of Fire contains 75% of the world's active and non-active volcanoes. So we have places that are close to the Ring of Fire, such as Japan is a perfect example. It means that these places are liable to earthquake and volcano, because where the Ring of Fire is located is a series of volcanoes in this area. And if you can see the layout, it says the Ring of Fire, and it lists the different countries that are a part of the Ring of Fire. So it means that these countries are liable to natural disasters such as volcano and earthquake, so they can be easily affected by volcano or earthquake. Again, remember you can share this lesson to a student that is taking PSC, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Look forward for another edition of Social Studies for PSC students, and remember, you can subscribe for quick access to all the videos that will be posted. Thanks so much for tuning in.